Kavita, and I welcome you back to Women in Marketing, presented by CMO First. Here we sit down with inspiring women marketers, not just to talk shop, but to celebrate their journeys, their thinking, and the spark they bring to this ever-evolving world of marketing. If you joined us for our very first journey, thank you for being part of this series. And if this is your first time tuning in, you've picked the greatest moment, because today we're rolling out episode 4. And for our journey number 4, I'm absolutely thrilled to have with us Nush Sadeer. Nush looks after revenue marketing for Imprivata in Southern Europe. Over the years, Nush has served in possibly all facets of marketing: field marketing, channel marketing, digital marketing, events marketing, brand marketing, demand gen, ABM, partners and alliances relations. Phew, okay, I couldn't even get the last one out. That is a very long list. That's Nush for you. Many hats, one powerhouse marketer. Oh, and did I mention she was also among the final nominees for the 2024 CRN Women of the Year Award? I must say, very well deserved. This one's going to be a great journey. Nush, thank you again for joining us today. I'd love to hear more about you. So if you'd like to share a few brief thoughts, that would be great.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kavita, for having me here today. Such a great opportunity, honestly speaking. So a bit about me. You kind of said it all, I would say, Kavita. But one key things, I'm a person, a marketeer that loves to try new things, test new things, and also make sure whatever I do has an impact on the end user's journey, but also creates business impact in different organizations I have worked with. So I'm looking forward to this conversation today.
Same here, likewise. And thank you so much again for joining us and sharing all your experience with us. So wonderful. Then let's get the ball rolling. Nush, I'd love to start with something simple yet personal. And this is a question that I ask every single person that joins us on this podcast, because I feel like it's a very important question, in fact. So what actually first drew you into the world of marketing? Was it actually a planned path or something you just kind of found along the way?
That's an excellent question. So actually, I was never drawn into going in the marketing path. For me, it's been a learning journey. So I started with a dream when I was a kid of I want to be a hair hostess or I want to work in fashion. And then I actually joined when I was quite young, a woman in program from IT that was led by IBM. And I was only about 14 years old. And that has helped me to understand a bit the IT worlds, but also a different aspect, such as marketing, sales, and so on. What I like about marketing, since I've been doing this for the many, many years in my career, is that marketing helps to connect people with a brand. I like the fact it's a role that connects to different cross-functional teams, such as sales, product, alliances, partner, end users. I mean, many different stakeholders, of course. And what I really enjoy with marketing is it really drove that impact it has in the market. So marketing helps to connect that brand message, that brand identity, create that brand impact, but also helps to connect the end users' pain points to, a need they need to a need that an organization needs to respond. What I think is very important is marketing helps to bridge that gap that many places you can find. And I think marketing is very powerful to drive business impacts, but also helps to connect that customer with that brand.
No, thank you so much for sharing that journey. It's definitely a wild one. Starting off wanting to be an air hostess and in fashion, and then landing in marketing. So I can already see that fashion is still a passion, right, for you. With the lovely scarf that you're wearing. So at least you're still keeping that element of it alive as well. But you're in the world of marketing, making some big major waves, which is amazing too. So you've donned multiple marketing hats, as I've already mentioned in your intro. Which type of marketing do you believe performs the best time and again?
So for me, ABM, account-based marketing. So I know account-based marketing is not new; it's a common thing that everyone talks about. But within my many years of marketing, I had for 1 year a role dedicated on account-based marketing, and that role taught me how impactful marketing can be in the real world of business. So just to give you an example, what I really enjoyed was to be able to work as a team with a sales team and the different stakeholders like the technical team to come up with a common solution to achieve a common goal, understanding the customer pain point and understanding how you respond to that customer pain point. It could be to help with acquiring a net new logo. It could be, with cross and upsell. It could be with helping with pipeline acceleration. And for me, that tactic has shaped the form of where marketing drives most of the values, is really getting deep dive into the sales acumen and be able to understand and shape that right messaging that's personalized to the customer. So for me, ABM is a tool or the main, let's say, theme that has where I have seen success in marketing.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, especially considering the variety of marketing roles that you've had and the many hats that you've worn, that ABM is the one that is your go-to and is always the one that seems to be the best performing one that you keep going back to, which is good. And also great to hear because, as you said, account-based marketing has been around for a very long time. It's had several names given to it, but it always seems to be the one that lands probably the most with most organizations. So yeah, that's really good advice for people out there as well, who are probably looking at various different channels of marketing and ways to generate leads. That ABM is still very much in the forefront of most marketers, especially marketing leaders like yourself, on your mind and your strategy. So we actually met at an industry event last year, and we ended up having a great conversation, which led me to think that you would be a great feature in our podcast. And I'm sure you must have been to quite a few of these type of events. I'm just curious to know, when you look back a few years versus now, what feels different to you about how attendees actually engage at events?
That's an excellent question. I think what really changed is that people don't attend events just because they want to consume information, because they can access this anywhere. I think the reason people are looking to attend event is more around being able to connect with peers, understand different value prop that's out there, be able to create this meaningful conversation on a one-to-one, but also be able to learn best practice from key peers in the industry. Also, see events helps to give people a chance to connect with a brand in a very authentic way and unique way. It's like going to a coffee shop, right? So you're able to go and connect in that coffee shop. But I think the events is where you can meet people, you can get a sense of feeling of the different product they can showcase. For me, for example, what I enjoy the most going to events and particularly in-person event is the fact that there's never a dull moment. It's always a place where you can learn something new, you can network, you can grow your connections. But also, what I really like is you come back with new ideas all the time. And I think, the type of connection you create on a face-to-face basis is unique. And I think this is what happened to us last year when we met together.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
we created this connection, and we are here, still ongoing with that communication, with that connection and network. And I like the fact we stayed in touch and we decided to go and do this podcast today.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. We can we live in a digital world. We can consume information from anywhere nowadays, and you don't even have to move from your home. But going to these events makes such a big difference because then you can actually meet people in person. You can exchange ideas and knowledge, and yeah, I actually found that as well. Versus a few years back to now. I feel like they're doing more intimate events as well, where they're really planning, pre-planning actually all the sessions that they run. And the sessions are very valuable as well. They're very much about what's actually happening in the marketing world right now, but also what's coming next. So you kind of come back with this visionary feeling that, yes, I can implement this into my org right now. And this is something we can put onto the roadmap for the future. And I think that's the game changer for me as well. Just not just connecting with your peers, but also learning from your peers as well. Okay, so Nush, can you tell me one thing about the world of marketing that you don't like and hope it vanishes soon? This is a very controversial question. If you had a magic wand and you needed to make one thing in the world of marketing just disappear overnight, which one would it be? What would it be?
That's a very interesting question, Kavita. I would say, in my own opinion, at this stage, there's nothing I would like to change in the world of marketing. I would say AV component of marketing is very important to make that full success story of a marketeer. So I feel like at this stage, maybe in the future, there may be something we can, look at tweaking and vanishing at some point. But I think what's very important as a marketer is making sure whatever you create, whether it's an activity, a campaign, an event, or anything you want, you have to make sure it's something that will bring value to the audience you're targeting, and making sure it adds value and impact to the business you're trying to achieve and helping with the business growth. In my kind of opinion, I also think at this stage there's so much about tools that can help and support the marketeers. But I do think that over the few years, nothing has changed as being dramatic in our world. I do think one thing I kind of think is a bit difficult sometimes as a marketer is really the data analysis. So it's great that now we have new tools, new way of measuring that doesn't need to be always manual.
Okay, yeah. So if the tools were not there, then what you would actually want to vanish is the data analysis part of the job, right?
Potentially,
Potentially, yeah,
but we still need
yeah.
data.
But you still need data. Data is king, exactly. And they
Yes.
say data is king, content is queen. So yeah, we can't have a king without his queen and vice versa. So Nush, you've spent a lot of time leading marketing across EMEA, and now you're in a much more global role. I'm curious, which markets feel more open to newer offerings and which tend to be a bit more cautious when it comes to innovation or implementing new things and new thinking?
So that's an interesting question, and I'll just answer based on my experience, and that's just purely my own ideas. So, from my experience, I think there's a couple of things you need to consider. So, first is not always about the geography. Second, it really depends on the market because different markets has different speed to embrace innovation, but also it depends on the markets you're trying to enter because some will only be open to innovation if they trust it, if there's no regulation that stops it, and also it depends also if there's any legacy system. The third thing I think that you have to consider is all about understanding the market that you're trying to enter or you're trying to really offer these innovative ideas or promotion, and is to do a lot of your research into will the audience be responsive, is that something they need, and also ensure that you shape the right messaging, the right tactics to target this different persona. And finally, something I really will say and cannot accentuate even more is language and localization. So in some region, it's very important to speak the local language, and it makes a huge difference. So something I have learned since I speak different languages actually is with the language skills, it makes a huge difference when you speak to people, when you try to offer new solution, when you try to get your brand out there, or even speak to your existing customers that are there. The language and understanding the culture helps to shape that personal bounding and helps to shape that personalization as well. So for me, these are the characteristic I was saying components actually that you should consider when it comes to innovation.
It's a very good analysis, actually, of why certain regions react differently to change and innovation. Never even thought about that perspective, but definitely the language thing has always been something that I've always kind of homed in on when it came to my clients as well, because I do feel like localization is very important, especially in EMEA, being, multilingual in such a big way. So it's always important to reach out to people in the language that they're most comfortable in. Marketing can only land correctly when it's landing with the right messaging at the right time to the right people. And the messaging needs to be in the right language as well for it to actually be understood correctly. So yeah, I mean, that's a great response. I love that response. So the next question I have is around the very buzzy topic of AI. It's an interesting question. So we saw Gen AI arrive, right? And then came Agentic AI. Suddenly the future looked radically different, almost beyond what we could ever imagine. Now we fast forward to today, and several biggies that invested heavily in AI are openly saying AI hasn't delivered the profits it was hyped for, right? Because everything new is always hyped up by everybody as this is going to change everything, right? As we know it, it's going to become the new go-to. From your perspective, how do you see the role of AI evolving in the world of marketing today, right? So, in your experience from using it as well.
Well, there's definitely different opinions around AI today and how it's going to evolve in helping and shaping marketers or even marketing itself. I think from my side, attending different workshops and even last year focusing on AI and peer working groups, I found out, AI is not perfect. It's still developing, it's still evolving. And I still feel the most powerful way of driving any innovative ideas like AI is combining it with a human kind of insights. So it's important. Human is still at the foremost of driving AI. In personal opinion and personal experiences so far, I use AI and I use like ChatGPT, like many other marketer, but I still have to use my own kind of thinking because I want to make sure whatever I do or use AI for is still authentic to my brand identity. So I want to make sure I still feel like natural when I use AI. And the way I see this is gonna evolve for the future is making sure the human creativity and strategy is the foremost of everything that you want to develop or use AI for as a tool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It should be humans navigating AI and kind of instructing AI on what to do, as opposed to AI instructing you. It's the only way it can really work for the future of, marketing and every other arena where this is being used. So, Nush, when you look at how much the marketing landscape has actually changed in the last decade or so, one noticeable shift has been the increasing presence of women in the field of marketing, right? Compared to when you started, we're seeing more and more women stepping in and really excelling. What do you think women are doing particularly well in marketing today, in your opinion?
I think nowadays women are taking more actions. So, for example, they are building their brands. They use LinkedIn. They create their own website. And actually, it's a funny question that you're asking because two of my previous mentors actually were ladies as well, and they both created their own website. They created their own brand via LinkedIn, and I have seen how quickly they've grown from different roles and how quickly they embrace the different pathway of the career. Some of them are actual VPs today, and that was kind of extraordinary to see that. I think women are not afraid to take the step if they have a career they want to pursue, they want to a goal they want to achieve as well. I feel like women are more powerful and feel like they can make a difference and they can step into that role they wanted to go for. They can also see the impact they can bring and the value they can bring. So I think, yes, it has evolved over the past few years. So you're definitely right, Kavita. It's a very important question to address. And I think there's going to be more and more women that will feel more empowered, encouraged as well. One personal experience, actually, when I used to do, it wasn't a charity, but it was part of a community I used to be part last year. And I remember it was helping women to help other women, to bring them outside of their comfort zone and be able to tell them that they can do something else that is more meaningful, something they want to try. So, for example, going climbing a mountain, going kayaking, or whatever it could be, but also being able to build that brand and be the next CMO they wanted to. So that felt really powerful because I could see the journey they took to get here, and that left that has left such a big impression for me, and it has helped me to see how we can get there as a community together.
Absolutely, and I love that. I love that response because you also added some personal things as well in there that kind of highlighted the journey that women are having right now, where they are actually starting to step into the forefront of their careers and really taking those opportunities, grabbing them with both hands. And even for myself, in the last 2 decades of being in this industry, I've seen a big shift in how women are really going for it and putting themselves out there more, and getting on LinkedIn and speaking about certain topics, and they're not shy anymore to have their voices heard. Women have opinions and they're being heard across the board, and I think that's amplifying the whole women excelling a lot more in their careers within marketing as well. I've definitely seen more CMOs come up the ranks that are women, which is great to see, and also women that are mentoring other women as well to again raise their confidence, to bring them into more senior positions within the organization. And I think that's just amazing, because I think as women we need to pay it forward. We need to always make sure that we are looking not just ahead of us but behind us to see who else needs to be pulled up with us. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the true definition of great leaders: people who are creating leaders behind them, to come and step into those roles. If they ever move on to the next opportunity, they should always have someone ready to step into that role and nurture those talents within their organization or even outside it. Mentoring doesn't just come within your org. I think mentoring other women can be across all paths of your life, right? Regardless, it's just about boosting each other and making sure we're one big community, right? For any men who are listening out there, this is not like some sort of like women power, movement that we're creating. Because there are many men who actually champion women within the org as well. So I've been lucky enough to actually have men champion me within my organizations, who have always wanted me to kind of take on that position of like, talking about women in leadership or women in management and stuff like that. So, and if it wasn't for them giving me those opportunities, I wouldn't really be speaking about these topics today, probably. They gave me that sort of confidence and, that reassurance that I could do that. But yeah, that was a great question to end our question segment on. I think definitely very true to why we're doing this in the first place. Women in marketing, part of CMO First. So we're going to move on to the rapid fire, Nush. This is quite, it's just a fun little exercise that we're going to do. So it was great to obviously get your insights and gain your perspective on everything that we've covered off in the question segment. And I'm sure the viewers too will find it very helpful. So now that we've finished off on the questions, we're going to go straight into 2 mini rapid fire segments. So no overthinking, just your instinct is needed here. So you can rest now. Like, you don't need to give me long answers. It's just going to be rapid. I'll say a word or a phrase, and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go then. First one for you is intent-led marketing.
Focusing, I would say, for me, is really focusing on buyers who are ready to engage.
Okay. AI built ads.
Well, I would say this is fast but still need human creativity behind the scene.
Automated telemarketing.
Useful, but you have to really think about how it's done fully and also ensuring it works.
Okay. Influencer marketing and B2B.
Growing and building trust.
Now we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to switch gears. This is real quick for round two. This or that. So you just need to choose your preference. Carousels or videos?
Videos.
Targeting millennial audience or Gen Z audience?
Millennials.
Yes, I'm a millennial. I'm here for that. Gemini or ChatGPT?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, yep. In-person experience or digital experience?
I'll say both, but I prefer in person.
I was going to say that's a tricky one for you to answer because you've done event marketing as well. Oh my God. How do you pick out of the two? That's why we threw it in there actually, because we thought with your event marketing experience and digital experience, which one would you favor? And last one is Instagram or TikTok.
We'll say both, but at the moment I use Instagram more.
Okay, yeah. You can only choose one. But yes, Instagram. We'll go with Instagram. I think TikTok is definitely one of those ones that people kind of go in and out of it, but Instagram is definitely, I think, the more steady one that everybody kind of uses. That was super fun. Nush, thank you so much for playing along. It was an amazing conversation. Loved having you on with us. Can't thank you enough for taking the time out to speak on these topics and all your answers. I'm sure everyone's going to love listening to this podcast. I know I thoroughly enjoyed having you on it. And so here's me, Kavita, signing off. Until next time, see you soon.
Thank you, Kavita.
Bye.